The sun has set, the air is cold. Something moves beyond the clearing. A faint whisper, a heavy footstep. Something's getting close. But have no fear, you should be safe. The campfire is going strong. Gather round, but be warned, they come before dawn.
Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to They Come Before Dawn. I am your host, Laurens.
And I am your co-host, Rei.
And on this episode, we're talking about, well, the episode's called Phantom Horses, but we're mainly talking about horses.
Just regular horses.
We have a few interesting stories to tell you, all featuring horses in some sort of fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to say.
Yeah, indeed, exactly.
Yeah, so as some may probably know, who know me, and some may probably know by listening to episode 0 where we introduced ourselves, I have a connection with horses.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what
yeah,
are
you had a strange look on your face. You weren't really sure where I was going.
No.
But I have always been intrigued by horses, would be a correct way to say it. I work twice a week with horses.
True.
No, 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Twice a week I clean stables. And every Sunday I ride horses. So yeah, I have a bit of a connection with horses, and this was something I really wanted to do.
That's true, because in episode 0 I also said that I used to be a horse girl.
Yeah, you used to be a horse girl, yeah.
When I was little. So that's right. Yeah. But not anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
Still like horses though, but...
You just don't have the opportunity to spend time with horses.
True.
We have 2 horses at home. I mean, not at home, but...
Oh, really?
No.
I'm sorry, but those are dogs.
Yeah, those are dogs. Yeah, that's correct. What I meant to say is that we own 2 horses.
Good for you.
I mean, a horse and a pony, actually.
Aw, pony.
Yeah.
Every little girl's dream.
I mean, it's just a smaller horse. I mean, a horse is... That's a fun thing to think about, is that a horse and a pony is not different. That's the same animal. It's just the way that we call them is because of their height.
True.
Yeah.
A pony is until 160 or something?
Yeah, 155 or 160 or 165. 1 meter 65, something along those lines. It's
something.
You could put 2 full-blooded horses together and get a pony out of it if it just doesn't grow big enough to be a horse.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, those things happen.
Oh, I didn't know.
So, okay.
That's
Enough.
super interesting.
Yeah. Enough about random things about horses. Should we just jump in?
Yeah.
Or is there something you want to tell everyone? Do you have a secret you want to share with the rest of us?
Do you have a secret you want to share with everyone?
Well, no. I should. No, I don't.
Then why are you bringing up secrets?
I don't know. I just wanted to, I would say, lighten the mood a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're so serious today.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're so serious.
I can be even more serious if you want.
No, please don't.
Okay.
Please don't. No one will like that.
No more laughing from now on. I said no more laughing. I'm serious.
Okay, I won't laugh anymore. I won't. So, how the episode is gonna go is both of us have looked into different subjects about horses. Mainly, both of us have looked at a single cryptid that's related to horses.
Yeah.
And we have also looked at different mythologies.
Yeah.
In which...
Even me.
Even you.
I actually researched about mythology.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me, but I did it.
I felt a bit like a teacher asking my student, giving you an assignment and telling
That's
you...
how it felt like.
It wasn't how it felt like, it was how it was.
Yeah, I guess so. But in the end, it was actually pretty interesting. It was short, but for me, it didn't have to be that much longer.
I just thought, hey, Ray can maybe use a bit of mythology knowledge, so...
Yeah, I learned something about Hercules.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, okay. But we'll get into that. I mean, I'm very curious what you're going to say, so we'll get into that.
Exactly, but first...
Yeah, first...
Cryptids.
Yeah, first we'll start with my cryptid. A cryptid near and dear to my heart.
Ooh.
No, it's the Kelpie.
Okay.
Some people will probably know what a Kelpie is.
The name sounds familiar, but
it's
actually
also a Kelpie is also it comes with, it's something that's in the Harry Potter universe as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of the Fantastic Beasts things. There's also a Kelpie.
Oh, in Fantastic Beasts.
No, I don't think it's in Fantastic Beasts. It's in Defense Against the Dark Arts. You know, in the third movie.
Yeah.
But I think in the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban, well, Remus Lupin really specializes in creatures in that book as a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, and I think at one point there's a Kelpie featured in that book, but I'm not really sure. It's been a long time since I read.
It's been a really long time. I don't know. I don't remember either.
It's been a while, but well, let's just get into it.
Nice.
It's a fairly well-known water spirit from Scottish folklore.
Water spirit.
It's a water spirit, yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a water spirit.
Nice.
It's a shape-shifting spirit that inhabits lakes, and it's mostly known for its horse form. Most people encounter this being as a horse. It is described as a black horse-like creature, but not always. Sometimes it does have a human form, so sometimes you can find it as a human.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get into that. It's just introduction. Some accounts state that the Kelpie keeps his hoofs once it's shaped back into a human.
Okay.
So it could be a human with horse hoofs.
Okay.
Which also could be interpreted as like the devil, because you know the devil has hoofs but he's more goat-like. But
yeah, goat hoofs and horse hoofs are different, right?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Doesn't a goat have the toes? A horse doesn't have toes. Like toes, I say toes, but I don't know if it's a correct name.
Well, horse and herbivores can be classified in two different classes. I'm not 100% sure if I say this in English, it's going to be correct term, but how we call it, it's even hoof and uneven hoof.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that a horse is uneven hoofed.
Yeah. True.
And a cow is even hoofed.
Yeah.
Because they have two hoofs and a horse has one hoof.
Yeah, that's what I meant with the toes.
Yeah. But now that you say it, I think that you're probably correct that a
goat has two.
It's been a long time since I saw a goat, but yeah, a goat has.
I heard them last Saturday night. They were everywhere.
No one will get that, and we'll just keep that a secret for us.
Maybe some of the new listeners.
Maybe, perhaps. Clan Malkavian might know. So yeah, goats have two hoofs, which will make them an uneven hoofed, and that's the difference between this human transforming into this horse transforming into a human. Could be Satan, and Satan is, it has even hoofed, so that aside. Apparently, almost every sizable body of water in Scotland has an associated Kelpie story. Even Loch Ness. You know Loch Ness?
Loch Ness? No, never heard of it. Please explain to me what Loch Ness is.
So Loch Ness is a big... A loch is Scottish for lake. So it means Lake Ness. And Loch Ness or Lake Ness, there's a pretty unknown creature living there.
Oh, really?
It's not really that. People don't really know what it is. It's there was once a very old and strange photo of what could be the Loch Ness monster.
A monster?
A monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, there was a photo.
There was a picture taken.
Loch Ness monster? Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Cool. Never.
But you can maybe Nessie. Is that something you heard? Nessie.
Nah.
That's no. You haven't seen Twilight?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, not the monsters not featured in Twilight, but the name is.
Doesn't sound familiar at all. I was not gonna laugh.
No. Yeah, you weren't gonna laugh, and you weren't gonna use sarcasm.
I never said that.
You said that before the episode. Before the microphone was on, you said that.
It's not record. It was not recording, so I didn't even say that. So it's not legit.
Okay. Rei knows what a Loch Ness monster is, and she was 100% being sarcastic. So where the name Kelpie came from is quite uncertain, but it could be from the Gaelic Kalpa, and I don't know if I'm saying that correct, because Gaelic is one hell of a weird language, but the way I see it and the way I read it, it's Kalpa.
I guess.
There are records from 1674 where there are places named, where there are place names such as Kelpie Hall and Kelpie Hall. Those I 100% apologize to all our Gaelic speaking listeners,
If we have any.
because I'm gonna butcher a lot of Gaelic names. The Kelpie preys on humans.
No.
It preys on humans.
Oh,
So a Kelpie lures a victim upon its back, takes them into the water, drowns them and devours them, and then throws the entrails of that human to the water's edge. So it is very vicious.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing so much, but you will get it when it's my turn.
We'll see with yours. We'll see with yours. It is capable of extending the length of its back to carry more than one rider.
Oh.
Which made me think about episode 1
Yes!
with the giant goat. So this isn't a giant horse, it's just a long horse.
Cool.
So there are quite a few stories of a Kelpie taking a group of multiple boys on its back, where the youngest boy does not get on, and that boy just pets the Kelpie because it's still a horse, so it's just petting a horse with a bunch of boys on the back of that horse.
Okay.
Yeah. But once it's petting that horse, that Kelpie, its hand becomes stuck to the horse.
Stuck to the horse.
Yeah, it becomes stuck to the creature, let's say just to the creature.
Yeah,
But the boy is, sometimes it's a hand, sometimes it's a finger, so the boy is able to cut his finger or his hand off and is able to flee. Then the creature takes the rest of the boys, who are also stuck to the horse, into the water, drowns them, and then later they find the entrails of those missing kids.
That's...
Yeah. Some stories say that that little boy has a Bible with him, and that's the reason why he's saved, obviously, because power of Christianity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Kelpie that transforms into a human can also be identified by the presence of water weeds in their hair. So if it's transformed into a man or a woman or a child or whatever, it always has water weeds in its hair.
Okay.
Which is an
That's really interesting.
Yeah. There is no limit to what human a Kelpie can transform in. So, in most stories, if you have creatures that can transform into humans, they can only transform into a woman, or they can only transform into men.
Yeah.
And that's not the case with a Kelpie.
Oh, okay.
Kelpie can transform in whatever gender or whatever thing that's going on with you. Yeah, whatever age, or it can transform into that.
Even a child.
Even a child.
That's... Ooh.
Yeah, a Kelpie can be captured. Their horse form does not have a tack or a bridle. A Kelpie can be captured, so using a halter stamped with the sign of the cross, you will capture the Kelpie.
With the sign of the cross, of course.
Christianity.
Yeah.
A folktale talks about how the Lord, or in this case a laird. A laird, that's the way you say Lord in Scottish, I believe. A Scottish Lord is...
I was going to say, I feel very Scottish when I say laird.
Yeah, a Scottish Lord is called a laird.
Laird.
Yeah.
Laird?
Yeah. So, a folktale talks about how the laird of Morphy captured a Kelpie and used it to carry stone to his castle. Once the construction of that castle was done, the Kelpie was released, but it cursed the laird for treating him horribly. So the curse is...
Then you shouldn't treat it horribly.
Yeah, you shouldn't treat it horribly. Even if it isn't a Kelpie, you should treat animals horribly, but...
Exactly.
This could be a lesson in animal cruelty and how to behave to... But the specific curse is written down, and the specific curse goes as follow. Are you comfortable with me really reading out a curse? Is that something you mind?
Why would I mind?
I mean, some people don't like that. A curse is still a curse.
No, you're not doing a ritual,
Okay.
so it won't have any effect.
Okay, so the curse in itself goes like this. Sore back and sore bones, driving the Lord of Morphe's stones. The Lord of Morphe will never thrive as long as the Kelpie is alive. That's the curse. So if we dissect that, it is cursing that Lord to doom. I mean, he won't thrive as long as the Kelpie is alive.
Well, that makes it easy for the lords, right? Kill the Kelpie.
Yeah, but he didn't kill the Kelpie. He released the Kelpie and the Kelpie cursed him then.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
that sucks. That really sucks.
The result of that was that that Laird's family went extinct. So the Lord died and left no heirs, and
that's the story, right?
Yeah, the story. That's the end of the story. Is
that Laird actually exists?
I mean, I could find it. I think it's just a story.
Okay.
But I think it's just a folk tale. So.
Oh, okay.
Some Kelpies had a bridle. So not all Kelpies were transformed into a horse without a bridle or a halter or a tag. Yeah, but some Kelpies did, and sometimes even had a saddle on them. These saddles could be removed, but you needed an exorcism. Now it just says exorcism.
For the saddle?
Yeah, to remove these items you needed an exorcism. It should be a Christian exorcism then. I mean, all cultures have.
It's very Christian.
Yeah, it's Scotland, so Scotland is also Protestant, but there's probably exorcism.
Scotland is not Protestant, right?
Yeah,
England.
no.
I mean, that's not right. I have no clue.
Catholic, Protestant, whatever it is, they probably share the same exorcism rituals. It's all about Jesus and the Lord and.
Well, we will find out when we learn about exorcisms for one of our future episodes, so stay tuned for that, because that's going to be really exciting.
That went fast. It is said that a bridle taken from a Kelpie has magical properties. And if brandished towards someone, was able to transform that person into a horse. Not into a Kelpie, but into a horse.
What?
Yeah. So if you took the bridle with an exorcism, if you took it off a Kelpie, you could use that bridle as a horse transforming weapon.
I want it.
Yep. Okay.
Then I can run free like a horse.
It's almost your birthday, right? I'll look into buying you a human transforming into a horse bridle.
Yes!
Okay, good one.
My lifelong dream finally coming true.
A Kelpie can be killed by shooting it with a silver bullet.
Aww.
Yeah. That's one of the ways you could kill a Kelpie. By using a silver bullet, which is also how you kill vampires, but also Kelpie.
The rules.
I told you that Loch Ness has a story.
Who?
Loch Ness. You know that Loch is lake in Scottish, so Lake Ness with the monster. Yeah, well, that specific Loch, because it's one of the biggest in Scotland and one of the, should be well known. It has a Kelpie story, and it goes as such. And I quote this out of an 1893 book, Folklore of Scottish Lochs and Springs. So this is the story. All about how. Well, I've got twist turned upside down. A Highlander of the name of MacGregor resolved to throw himself in the way of the water horse in the hope of getting the better of him. What? It really starts very weird. It's just before that, it starts by talking about what a Kelpie is and then how you could defeat it, and then the story goes like this. Okay. So I'll just begin again.
Okay.
So a Highlander of the name of MacGregor resolved to throw himself in the way of the water horse or Kelpie, it's the same, in the hope of getting the better of him. The meeting took place in the solitary pass of...
Wow, what a word!
Slachtmute? Nee, Slachtmucht.
I think you're close.
We're not done yet. Between Strathspey and Inverness,
that was close.
Let's hope so. Let's really hope so. The Kelpie looked as innocent as usual and was considerably startled when McGregor, sword in hand, struck him a blow to the nose.
Oh. On his nose?
So, if I could just pause the story here, that means that McGregor, this Highlander we're talking about, who probably, it isn't said if he knows that it's a Kelpie or something, but it would just be so weird if he didn't know that it was a Kelpie, just a horse with a bridle, and he just decided to use his sword to chop off his nose or just start smacking him on the nose.
Poor thing.
Yeah, so, and pause. The weapon cut through the bridle and the bit, falling to the ground. It was instantly picked up by McGregor. This was the turning point of the encounter. The Kelpie was powerless without his bit and requested to have it restored. Though a horse, the Kelpie had the power of human speech and conversed undoubtedly in excellent Gaelic with his victor, using various arguments to bring about the restoration of his lost property. That's one hell of a sentence, right? That was all one sentence.
Jesus, that was...
Finding that these were unavailing, he prophesied that McGregor would never enter his house with the bit in his possession, and when they arrived at the door, he planted himself in front of it to block the entrance. Pause?
Wait. Okay. There is no part in this story where McGregor was like, what the fuck, this horse is talking?
Nope. There was not... I can show you the exact page. The man is not surprised that the horse is talking, so he must know what a Kelpie is.
Cool.
Oh, it might be the reason why he struck it on the nose to begin with.
Yeah, so...
He must have recognized it as a Kelpie then.
Yeah.
It's still a weird tale.
Great.
And especially the horse speaks an excellent Gaelic, eh?
Wait, is Gaelic?
Gaelic is the...
This isn't... That's original Irish, no?
Also, they also speak it in Ireland.
Oh, is it also Scottish something? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool.
We learn something new every day.
Continue.
I mean, it would be weird if McGregor didn't speak Gaelic.
No,
then.
that would
And that's
be,
just the horse that's speaking excellent Gaelic, but he can't understand Gaelic, so he just hears the horse talking.
That would be a shitty situation.
So the Highlander, so they arrive at the door, and the Kelpie put himself in front of the door, just to recap where our story is going. In case you forgot what was happening.
I did forget. Wait.
Yeah, so he took the bridle, and the horse said, "You can enter your house with the bridle."
Can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they went to his house, and once they arrived there, the Kelpie put himself in front of the door.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh well, that's not really a curse. Like, you shall not enter your home with this thing.
However, the Highlander outwitted the Kelpie, for going round to the back of his house, he called his wife and flung the bit to her through a window.
Hell yeah.
Returning to the Kelpie, he told him where the bit was and assured him that he would never get it back again. As there was a Rowan cross above the door, the demon steed could not enter the house, and presently departed, uttering certain exclamation not intended for benedictions. So,
damn.
the Kelpie was defeated.
He outsmarted the Kelpie.
Yeah.
I like this story. I like it because he outsmarted him rather than fight and defeating him, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of like that. McGregor. Notorious McGregor.
I think it's not the MMA one, but it's not really spelled the same way. I think it's McGregor. I think it could just be McGregor.
Yeah, probably. It's
very Scottish name.
It's written differently, that's right.
It's written differently. It's written differently.
I mean...
But your cryptid, I do know a bit about your cryptid. It's... Yeah, maybe you should just talk about your cryptid because it's a bit similar and a bit different.
It's a bit very similar.
Yeah, so...
So I'm going to be talking about the Glashtyn. Also a very odd name, at least odd to me. But as I've heard in some YouTube videos, it's actually pronounced Glashtyn.
Yeah,
However, there are...
That sounds better.
But there are different pronunciations, but we'll go for Glashtyn.
It's not in... It's also Gaelic, probably?
I don't know.
Well, in whatever language it is, we don't speak it, so...
Nope. So the Glashtyn is a creature of Manx folklore.
What's Manx folklore?
Well, that's actually folklore from the Isle of Man.
You know, with the motorcycle
Yeah,
race.
that's exactly
Yeah?
the only thing why I know
That's
it
also
for.
the only way I know it.
But it's an island very close to Scotland.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get why the tales are similar. It's also a shape-shifting creature. It can be seen as a human or a man, or a hybrid of both.
You mean like a centaur or just a man horse?
Mostly a male with the head of a horse.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
that
more
sounds
like that.
more logical.
Yeah. They say you could recognize a Glashtyn in human form by its horse ears.
By his horse?
Yeah, it's unable to transform its ears. Yeah, when in human form.
So even if it's in a human form, it has like these big
Horse ears.
horse or donkey ears. I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
Like in Pinocchio.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So mostly the Glashtyn would wear a hat or adjust its hairstyle to hide the ears.
Well,
Yeah,
that's gotta be one hell of a weird hat.
kinda.
If you have to, I mean,
Yeah.
a horse has big hairs.
Yeah, so I guess maybe it could
Lay it flat,
flat,
probably.
yeah, or just wear a really big top hat or something.
But,
Top
but
hat?
honestly, it's not really something that we should worry about. It's something that the Glashtyn itself should worry
yeah,
about.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, yours also had a flaw
A flaw, yeah. They all have flaws, apparently.
when in human form. So yours was kind of hard to
Yeah.
hide.
You just comb its hair and get the shit out of its hair.
But what if you can't get it out?
Well, once we meet a Kelpie or a Glashtyn, we should ask them. We don't speak Gaelic.
That's true.
We don't speak Gaelic.
We don't. Damn it. Oh no, we'll never be able to communicate with one. What are we gonna do?
We should learn Gaelic then.
Oh my god, we should. Duolingo.
Gaelic is not,
Duolingo will sponsor us and we'll learn.
it's sadly not a well-spoken. It's not much spoken anymore.
No, that's true.
No, it's not even much spoken in Ireland or in Scotland anymore.
That's true.
Or in Wales. I think in Wales they also speak Gaelic.
No clue, honestly.
No, they speak Welsh. What an idiot am I? Welsh is even worse than Gaelic.
Yeah, it's been so long. I actually studied English and I forgot everything.
Oh.
I only studied for a year though. Yeah. I obviously did not proceed. Anyway, the Glashtyn. The Glashtyn preys on humans. Surprise!
Ooh.
Either for pleasure or to collect their souls, depending on what tale you're
Some
reading.
say for pleasure and
Yeah.
some say for
Exactly.
soul collecting.
It drags its unsuspected prey into the deep waters where they drown.
Yeah?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds pretty familiar.
But the Glashtyn won't drown because it's able to breathe underwater.
Yeah.
Very simple, just like that.
Okay.
It's a horse that can breathe underwater.
It's a water-breathing horse, yeah.
Yeah. You could almost say a water spirit.
Yeah. The Kelpie. Also, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so similar to the Kelpie,
It's
actually.
really similar. That's why I was laughing the whole time. I was like, oh boy. Maybe I should have read yours first.
It doesn't really matter. It's still...
But I think it's quite interesting how tales can be very similar yet different. So
Yeah.
farmers would actually sometimes capture a Glashtyn
Yeah.
when they were in full horse form, obviously, and use them to work on the land since they're so big and strong.
Yeah.
So
I think the photos I saw of a Glashtyn, because once I looked into a different horse cryptids and everything surrounding horses, the Glashtyn obviously came up. It really looks like those farmers' horses that we have.
yeah.
You know, we have
I guess.
what we would call Flemish farmers' horses.
A boerenpaard.
Yeah. A farmer's horse would be your correct translation, and I really don't know if it has a good English translation, but it's a typical Flemish breed, and they grow to be very big, very tall, and they are over a ton. They weigh over a ton.
Yeah.
And I have a friend of mine who actually had these horses at home and worked and trained with these horses. He still has on his back a huge scar of a horse hoof.
No.
Because he was kicked a few times, and he was kicked once very clearly into his back, which is still a scar. It's really a horseshoe of a horse. Yeah.
What? Oh my god, that's...
But the pictures I've seen of the Glashtyns are so similar to those types of horses.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. However... That was...
Yeah. Back to the Glashtyn, yeah?
However, you're not able to ride a Glashtyn in horse form, because once you mount it, a person would find themselves unable to dismount.
Also stuck.
Yeah, just stuck.
Okay.
So the Glashtyn would take the human on its back to the nearest river and drown them. In human form, it is said it would hold onto a person's clothing to drag them to the water.
Yeah.
Similar to what you said with the finger.
Yeah, no, but what I meant with the finger or with the hand is that they really stick to the skin.
Oh yeah, okay, but
the Glashtyn holds onto the person by its clothes.
Yeah. But according to the folklore, you could try to escape by cutting away that piece of fabric.
Okay.
Which would mostly refer to women's skirts and dresses.
Well, it's exactly what the boy did.
Yeah.
And with the Kelpie, just he didn't cut his skin, his clothes, but his hand
arm
and his finger.
Great. I prefer the Glashtyn.
Yeah.
I think.
You could always say that clothes are also expensive.
Your life is worth more than your clothing.
I knew that I would get under your skin by saying that.
Okay. There are many versions of the Glashtyn. In other stories, it appears more goblin-like or more like a water bull.
Oh.
Yeah.
A bull, like a cow, a bull cow. Cowboy.
Yeah. Like with the ring.
With the ring?
Like I have.
Like you have?
Yeah.
You know why they have a ring there? Bills?
Oh, why was that again? I knew it, but I forgot.
I think what I've heard that the ring in a bull's nose is for tying it to a wall.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it could that could also be just a thing you tell children.
I don't know. I really don't remember.
I have actually never seen a bull with a
They don't
there.
do that anymore.
No.
I mean, because obviously it's cruel.
Yeah.
I chose to do that. The bull didn't.
Yeah, you chose to do that.
I chose to do that. Look, I love cows, okay?
Yeah.
I don't eat them, so I like cows. This is my tribute to cows.
Yeah, that's right, you're a vegetarian.
I'm not a vegetarian, but I don't eat cows. It is also said the Glashtyn's hooves were reversed, which I find a little disturbing.
That's a weird picture to paint.
Yeah, I know. I can't really imagine it, but it just looks kind of... Ooh.
It would be like if your nail wasn't here, but on the other side.
Oh, no. Oh, don't
I mean, that's actually exactly what it is.
Ew.
Because a horse walks on its nail.
Ew.
A horse doesn't.
Yeah, I know, but
so that's the picture I'm
painting.
painting.
Shh, stop.
Just not.
It pains me.
The nail's not in the front, but it's in the back.
Stop talking about nails. I hate it. So obviously, this would be a factor to recognize the Glashtyn in horse form.
That's strange, because I nowhere found how you could recognize a Kelpie in a horse form, but the Glashtyn is.
Yeah. But that's just in some stories.
Obviously, it's always like that. But it's really curious how in the Isle of Man they have a sort of like a Kelpie. Mm-hmm. It's probably inspired by the Kelpie, or the Kelpie is inspired by the Glashtyn. Yeah. And this is really interesting. Nice. You know how far away those places are? You know exactly where the Isle of Man is?
Yeah, so you have like England and then Scotland above.
Yeah.
And then where the, how do you say, land?
Border.
Yeah, where the land border is between England and Scotland.
Yeah.
The left of it in the water, there's the Isle of Man.
Oh, towards Ireland then.
Yeah.
Oh.
If I saw it correctly. So yeah, that was it. That was the Glashtyn.
Two very similar, very interesting, if I can say so, cryptids.
Yeah, I think so too, actually. Actually, really liked researching the Glashtyn, and I'm kind of sad that this is only what I found. It's actually really short.
Yeah,
But
that's true. There wasn't. I also thought that would be the case if you decided to pick the Glashtyn, that it's a bit short, but it doesn't really matter. It's very interesting.
I already saw that yours was pretty long, so I was like,
sure, I can
I'll
cut
take
down.
a short one.
I'll use a short one. It doesn't really matter. I don't really mind. It's really. I really think that it's so interesting how, even though there is sea and there's water.
Yeah.
Separating these two places, and there is a bit of distance separating these two places, that there is still so much similarities between those two.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised how they made up a story linking a horse and water. I mean, actually, the horse going into water to drown humans. Like,
Yeah.
normally a horse would drown too.
There are
but...
a lot of cryptids and a lot of tales about cryptids in this world, and not all cryptids are, in my opinion, so devious, so hunting on humans and preying on them.
Yeah.
Well, there are quite a few, but a lot of cryptids, I believe like the chupacabra, they feed on humans, but they don't kill humans.
What?
What?
How did he feed on humans then?
Just by sucking blood, but.
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
okay, yeah,
I mean, they suck blood and they feed on humans by that.
Yeah, okay.
But they don't kill humans. And these cryptids, both of these cryptids, specifically kill humans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then eat them and scatter their entrails. Such a big detail. As everyone knows, mythology is a thing that I really like. Yeah, it is, I think, a known fact at this podcast that I really like mythology.
Yes, it is. It is definitely a known fact.
So I knew that quite a few mythologies had things to do with horses and gods who do things with horses, among these things. But something I really did not know that much about was Celtic mythology. So I tried looking into Celtic mythology.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So you were a bit in an unknown place by looking into mythology.
Yep.
I was also a bit in an unknown place because I looked at a mythology that I really don't know that much of.
Oh, okay. So.
What I do know about Celtic culture, however, is that not a lot of it survived the Roman conquest. Because Celtic... So, context.
What are you saying?
Celtic culture,
Yeah?
like the Gauls, the Galliers.
Ah.
The Gauls.
Okay.
If you say Celtic, that's a huge, diverse group of people who lived on a huge area of land. They lived from, I believe, the whole of France, Belgium, part Netherlands. I think you could even say that the Germanic people are also Celtic.
Oh.
But there's just
Didn't know.
so much different tribes. I think that Caesar, when he did his conquest of Gaul, wiped out 500 different tribes, and those were all Celts.
Huh? I thought Celtic was only Ireland.
No.
Am I so
Oh
wrong?
no.
Oops.
The Gauls were all Celtic. The German were all Celtic.
I did
The
not
Britons?
pay attention to
I think
my
that-
history class.
I think the people in the British Isles were called the Britons. They were also Celtic.
Oh.
So it's like saying Christians, but there's not one Christian folk. There's a bunch of different lands who are all Christian, and Belgium is Christian, France is Christian, Switzerland is Christian, this country is Christian, etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you would wipe out all of Christianity, you would wipe out a lot of different countries.
Okay, yeah.
So you could describe it that way. Gauls and Celts in general, they had no written language. So there is not much written down from their mythology and their culture. What is written down is all written by Romans, written in Latin. So
okay. So
place names were translated into Latin.
Oh, okay. So it's actually kind of not sure if everything's really.
Well, I think that's
correct.
with everything about history.
Yeah, I guess.
History is written by the victors, but if you a lot of Celtic people also assimilated into Roman culture. So when Caesar conquered Gaul, because that was how Caesar became emperor, because he conquered Gaul. And when he went to a different place in Gaul and took over the place, if I could just say it very basic, he didn't just go to that place and murder everyone. That's not something that he did. He went there, he fought, and he probably murdered a lot of different people, but some people survived, and some people just gave up and surrendered and didn't even fight, and these people were assimilated into Roman culture. They had actually different names for these people. Some of them were, it is even written down that you could see how long a Gaelic tribe has been assimilated into Roman culture by the way they carried themselves, by the way they cut their hair, the way they had their facial features, their facial hair, their clothing.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really history, especially in that time and in all times, to be honest. It's not black and white. It's not the good guys, the Romans, the bad guys, the Gauls, and the good guys came to that place, and there were no bad guys anymore once they did everything. No, history is not that way, but it's really good thing for just sit down and think about these things and just remember all of the things I said. I just don't know that shit. I just not long ago listened to a podcast and Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, and he talks about the Celtic Holocaust, which is the conquest of Gaul. He talks about that, and these things that I say are things that I still remember him saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's super interesting. It's just a lot of information for me.
It's a lot of information.
Especially in English, it's really difficult.
And it's not something that has anything to do with horses yet, but it's context.
Yeah, it's
you
context.
know, context is everything to me. So, I was looking into Celtic culture, and I found Epona. Epona. If you have played The Legend of Zelda, this is a name that...
That's why it sounds familiar.
That's a name that could be familiar.
Nice. I mean, I only played half the game, but yeah.
Link, the protagonist of the games, has a horse called Epona.
Oh my god.
So Epona, she is a Celtic goddess. And the reason we know that she's a Celtic goddess is because she was assimilated into Roman culture. Romans took that goddess and used them for their own.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what the Romans did.
I don't know.
Epona was the protector of horses, ponies, donkeys, and mules.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
She is mostly shown as a fertility goddess, which apparently you can see because in some of her statues and mosaics, she has a patera, which is a bowl, sort of, I think it's a sacrificial bowl.
Oh, a bowl.
Yeah. She has a cornucopia. It's a horn with pieces of food coming out of it, like fruits and... You never seen a cornucopia?
Why
is
that?
Sort of shell, sort of horn.
Yeah.
And it has...
Oh, I thought you meant a music horn.
No, not a French horn. No.
No, not like a horn, but like, does...
Well, I think cornucopias could also be used as musical instruments, but these cornucopias in these statues, well, they had food flowing out of it.
Just like that? Like a waterfall?
Well, it's, sort of.
So it just magically kept...
If you have a statue which is used in a fountain and it holds a cornucopia, it's also where the water comes out.
Huh.
Yeah, if you ever see a statue with holding a sort of horn, something, it's always, that's a big part of the fountain is what there's water coming out of it.
But I like the food better.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about fertility. Cornucopia is filled with food, it's overflowing with food.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
She has ears of grain, and she is often in the presence of fowls.
Okay.
Baby horses.
Okay. I was just gonna pretend I knew
Yeah,
that.
she's fowls are baby horses. She is also called, and I quote, the sole Celtic divinity ultimately worshipped in Rome itself. End quote. So Rome worshipped her as the patroness of the cavalry,
Okay.
of Rome's cavalry, which is a huge cavalry. Epona has a feast day, which is given as December 18, but it could possibly be a local celebration because it was found on a calendar in Chidizzolo in Italy. That's Italian name, and I didn't say it Italian, so I've butchered it.
I have no clue either.
Apparently, the reason that Epona was assimilated in Roman culture was due to the fact that the imperial horse guard, also called the Equites Singularis Augusti, they recruited from Gaul, the lower parts of Germany and Pannonia, which is present-day Hungary and Austria. So that was all Gaul.
Pannonia?
Yeah, because
Sounds cool.
it makes sense. The Romans came to these places with their troops, but once they left, they obviously were with less troops. They needed more recruits, and they started recruiting in the lands that they have captured. And these lands, well, if you go to Gaul and you take over the place and you start recruiting from Gaul, the people you recruit are Gaelic, or are Gauls. So the people you recruit are Gauls.
Yeah.
So obviously they have their own culture. They have their own goddesses. They have their own divinities and pantheon. So it sort of makes sense that this specific horse unit called the Imperial Horse Guard, if you recruit them from Gaul, they have Gaul traditions, and they have that goddess. That's the reason why Epona was
Okay.
assimilated in Roman culture.
I get it.
Euhemeristic account. Euhemeristic is an interpretation of mythology in which mythological accounts originated from real historic events. So it's just a way of saying those mythologies happened because of this event happening in history.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that account of Epona's origin occurs in the Parallela Menora, which is traditionally attributed to Plutarch. Plutarch is a Greek philosopher and historian. It goes as such. Fluvius Stellus hates women and used to consort with a mare. And in due time, the mare gave birth to a beautiful girl and they named her Epona. She is the goddess that is concerned with the protection of horses. That's the account by Plutarch.
Okay.
Fluvius Stellus, I have no idea what that is.
Well, he hates women, so...
He hates women, and I've looked everywhere. Any account about Fluvius Stellus just quotes this story.
Oh.
It doesn't say Fluvius Stellus is a historian, he's a accountant, he's a this, he's a god, he's an emperor, he's a king. No. I have no idea who Fluvius Stellus is.
That's odd.
But he's apparently is Epona's father. Because he consorted with a mare and they had a beautiful girl named Epona.
I love that they had a daughter.
So he must
Since he hates women.
Yeah. But he
Jokes on
hates
him.
women, so that's why he fucks horses.
I mean... And he still had a goddess.
A goddess.
That's like so in his face. Haha, Fluvius, bitch.
No, it would be quite
It's not
obvious.
Fluvius, it's Fulvius.
Fluvius.
Fulvius.
I really don't know if I'm saying it correct. It's Latin.
Fulvius.
It's Fulvius?
Fulvius.
Did I write down? It's Fulvius, yeah.
Fucking bastard.
It's Latin. So it would be quite logical for her place of worship to be the stables. But I read...
I mean, is that obvious? I don't feel like a stable is a horse's favorite place.
Well, yeah, but it's where a horse spends most of its time.
That's
most
sad.
Of it, sort of. I mean, it's not really... Not 100% correct what I'm saying right now, but it's a very big part of a horse life.
Of course. I mean, they shouldn't be outside all the
So
time.
her place of worship, however, sometimes I read that it sort of twisted Epona's image, that she was sort of looked at as a lowly goddess, because she was, because of the fact that she was so interconnected with the stables, she was also sometimes associated with Cloacina, which was the Roman goddess of the sewers.
Oh, there's a goddess of the sewers?
Yes. Romans, they sort of perfected sewers and the whole thing. Oh. Yeah, like aqueducts. That's a big thing for the Romans, is that they were so successful in their whole empire building because they had a way to make these huge cities which wouldn't just burst over with disease and sickness. Because if you have that much people living together, everyone contaminates each other.
Oh, yeah, we've seen that in 2020.
Yeah, we've seen that. So they had a really big part of their culture, and the way they could thrive is because they had such a good sewer system.
Oh, and they had a goddess.
Yeah, and that's why you sometimes, if you would go to Rome, go to the Colosseum, and you could see different... Oh, look, this is a very big aqueduct. And that's just a fancy way of saying it's a thing that like a sort of bridge that puts water from one place to another, which was sometimes used as sewers.
Nice.
Not all sewers were underground.
I did not know that sewers were that old.
Yeah, sewers are very important in having big cities and big empires.
Nice.
The Roman aqueducts.
Awesome. That was actually nice to know.
Yeah. So Cloacina was the goddess of the sewers. Epona was the goddess of horses. Sewers, horses, stables. These things were very closely connected to each other, but they were also both filthy places, which gave Epona her status as a lowly god. Or in some cases, not always.
You know what? Epona is now my favorite goddess.
Yeah, she's still
worshipped?
Yeah, she's still worshipped today.
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of Celtic witches. So
yeah, not only by Celtic witches, but I have read very shortly that there is an event every year in Massachusetts.
Oh,
where
in America.
In America for some reason, where they celebrate Epona.
I love that.
Yeah.
Go Epona.
Yeah.
Like all these other gods being like, you're a low goddess, but they're not worshipped anymore. Epona is. I like her.
Yeah, she's a very So Epona has a few counterparts in different pan-Celtic religions. So like the Irish, they have Macha, who is part of a 3-person warrior goddess. So Macha, together with Morrigan and Bab, they are one goddess. There are 3 different people, but they're one goddess. I don't know how that goes. I am not that knowledgeable in the fact of how gods work. And there is also Rhiannon. She is a major figure in Welsh mythology. And so all these 3 ladies, and I mean Epona, Macha and Rhiannon, they are both warrior queens, and they are also very closely tied to horses, which is why I would call them counterparts to each other.
Yes, warrior queens. Love it.
Yeah. I really... Macha is a warrior queen goddess, and Rhiannon is not a goddess, but she's a warrior queen. Enough Celtic. What did you look into?
I looked into Greek mythology. I was gonna say totally not my thing, but mythology in general is not really. Like, it's interesting, but it's a lot.
There's so many beautiful different tales in mythology. I think if you would take the time and like sit down and read some of them, you will really get into it. I think that will really be a thing.
Have you talk about it from time to time.
You just don't want to steal my thing.
Nah, it's your thing.
Oh, that's not. That's so kind of you.
My thing is true crime.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be talking about the mirrors of Diomedes.
Diomedes. That sounds Greek.
That is Greek.
It sounds Greek.
Hercules had to complete 12 labors in service of King Eurystheus.
That sounds correct.
I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was the 8th quest to steal the mares of King Diomedes of Thrace. So Diomedes was the son of Ares, the god of war.
Yeah.
He was a ruler of the Bystones, a cruel and barbaric tribe.
Oh.
Yeah. And Diomedes actually had these strong mares, horses that could not be controlled,
Yeah.
who were just as savage as their king.
Yeah.
Savage because their diet did not consist of hay or grain, but they had acquired a taste for human flesh.
Yeah, that's correct. Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I remember again how when I read about the 12 labors of Hercules that there was a really strange thing about horses eating human flesh.
Yeah, that's that.
They're those horses.
Yes. So strangers, intruders, and prisoners were all fed to these mares.
Yeah.
Because they were so strong and uncontrollable, they were tied with iron chains.
Yeah.
Hercules went and traveled with a few companions, including some friends and his nephew.
Yeah, his nephew.
I don't know if that's very specific.
It is important in the whole 12 labors of Hercules. That
I just felt like everyone talked about his nephew, so I thought...
he is a very important figure in the story.
Cool. Oh, cool.
But it might not be in your story.
No. Once arrived, King Diomedes didn't meet Hercules and his friends with hospitality, and eventually they broke into a fight.
Yeah.
The son of Ares was strong, and it was a long battle, but Hercules defeated him and fed Diomedes to his own mares.
They must also like half gods meet then, because Diomedes was half god then.
Well, actually,
Demigod.
after doing this, the mares seem to have calmed down a lot, and they actually thought that, the mares just needed the blood of, or the flesh of their master.
Yeah.
They're calmed down.
Oh.
Cool. It's
Well, yeah, maybe because he, as I say, he was a half god.
yeah,
so.
maybe. So they led the mares to the ship. However, more soldiers came to fight,
Yeah.
and Hercules asked one of his best friends, Abderus, a young man, to watch over the horses while Hercules himself went to fight the soldiers. But sadly, when he returned, he found his friend devoured by mares.
That could happen if you leave your friend
Well,
alone
they
with...
thought they calmed down,
yeah.
So they were wrong. They were very wrong.
They obviously were very wrong.
So Hercules buried his friend and named the city around it Abdera in tribute to his friend.
Do you know if that's still a city today? If it is still,
I think so, because
it carries the same name.
Well, I could click the.
Oh, you could play. Wikipedia. It was a hyperlink. Okay.
Sure. Hercules took the horses to King Eurystheus, who dedicated the horses to Hera. I'm the goddess of marriage, childbirth, women, and family. You want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hera being Zeus's wife.
Oh.
Hercules being
That's his mom.
born out of wedlock, if you could even say it. If you talk about gods, it could be out of wedlock. But if you would talk about it in modern speech, Zeus cheated on Hera and got Hercules. So King Eurystheus giving the horses that Hercules captured to Hera. I mean, not giving, dedicating it to her. That's a whole different level of... You didn't think about that. I mean, you probably did know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay.
So I didn't look into it. I was just like, oh, Hera, nice, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, the mares were now allowed to roam freely around Argos, and the horses that descended from these mares were extraordinary animals. And it is said that the horse of Alexander the Great was, or had the blood of these mares.
Oh, very cool.
In other versions of the mythology, I guess, the horses were brought to Olympus as a sacrifice to Zeus.
Yeah.
But he didn't want them and sent lions and bears to destroy the horses.
Yeah, and if you look at it this way, think a lion and a bear wins from a horse.
I guess.
Like 9 out of 10 times, maybe 10 out of 10 times.
I guess. So yeah, that was it.
It's a very interesting tale.
Yeah, I think so too. I actually was like, it's quite interesting.
I mean, a lot of these tales are... That's why I think it was such a good thing of me to be a good sort of teacher to you and say, perhaps you should look into this mythology.
Yeah,
because
that's
Greek
true.
mythology it's weird. Mythology is weird.
It is.
But it's not Norse mythology weird.
No, Norse
I mean,
mythology
it is very-
indeed a whole...
It is very special. It is very unfortunate of me that in my special episodes, which we did do last time, but the time before that, I also talked about a horse. You know, Sleipnir, Odin's horse, the 8-legged horse.
Wait.
You just didn't listen to the episode?
What episode did you say that?
The special episode? The solo episode I did?
Yeah, of course. With the...
In the solo episode I did, I also spoke about mythology, and I also spoke about the horse in
Yes,
mythology.
Oh, that's actually true.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen to it, I
Just
swear.
linked it together, but it's also a bit weirder, that mythology, so I was very happy that you wanted to do it about Greek mythology.
So you actually have one more story for us.
I have a bit of a ghost story to tell.
Ooh, I love ghost
It is
stories.
a ghost story. It is a small story. It's a thing I found online. I just want to tell you the story, and I think it's a good thing to. It's a good story to end our episode on.
Okay.
We can both agree that a lot of ghost stories are dark and scary.
Yeah, that's...
It's in its nature.
I mean,
it's a
that's
ghost
how
story.
it should be.
It's how it should
Yes,
be.
I guess.
However, the story I will tell you next is not one of those.
Oh.
It's not dark and scary. It's
Oh.
scary. So the story is by user DuncanTitties16 on the Ghost Stories subreddit.
Okay, well... Thank you,
mean,
Duncan Titties, for sharing the
the-
story, but your username...
Ray, please, with respect, it's DuncanTitties16.
16. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, forgive me.
It goes as such. My parents had bought me a rescue horse. I named him Handsome, because he was a very handsome horse.
Aw.
He was left in a field with no grass and only thistles to eat, so he was fairly skinny.
Aw.
I automatically fell in love with him. I only had him for 6 months because he sadly had to be put down because he had a brain tumor that made him stumble and confused.
No, why?
But I thought to myself, at least he had a last good 6 months.
That's true.
The vet who put him down got his friend to bury Handsome on our property free of charge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they buried him at home.
Oh, wow,
That's
not allowed
That's-
here, but
no, that's not allowed to, but it doesn't
that's
really matter.
nice. I mean,
I was so thankful that I got to know Handsome. He was a beautiful soul even after being mistreated. Anyways, that afternoon, my mom went out to feed the other horse and our pony. She couldn't find them, so she walked down the hill and around the side where Handsome was buried. There was our horse and our pony, with their heads bowed down towards the grave. 3 of our next door neighbors' horses broke through our fence and they were also there, heads bowed.
what?
It's like they were having their own little funeral.
What? Huh?
That's how it goes.
Huh?
That night, I was sitting in the lounge and looked out of the window. There was our horse in the stable and the pony was standing just outside. But there was a third horse. I got up, looked out of the window, thinking it was one of the neighbor's horses again. But when I started walking towards the window and then got up beside the house, I went out the side door to get a closer look, but it was gone. I felt an overwhelming sense of warmth and started crying. I thought to myself, Handsome came to say goodbye one last time.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, it's also really beautiful, though.
It's a really beautiful
Aw.
ghost story, and
That's a really nice one.
it's a really nice one.
Wow.
And
Well,
I-
thank you for sharing that
Yeah,
story. That's
so
really nice.
It's a good one to end the episode on, I think.
Yes. Oh. I mean, it's really sad that he died, but
Yeah.
like he came to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And like all the horses that like bowed their head over the
broke down, broke out.
Yeah.
and they bowed down their
that's-
heads. Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
I mean, I just wonder, like, could it have been the smell or?
yeah. I
But-
think, yeah. if these horses would have paid their respects as we would look at it, it would probably be because of the fact that he was in the ground and they smelled him through the dirt.
But I mean, they probably still went to like in a horse way. Pay respects.
Yeah,
I guess.
horse. I mean, there are animals who
actually
mourn and who
So
like there are like elephants perhaps. Elephants, for instance, they remember where another elephant has died, and they always go back to. And elephants know where another elephant has died, and they always go back to those sites to remember
hear
them.
about that. Yeah.
Not really sure that a horse could do that as well, but we don't.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
could be.
Really nice story. I mean, sad, but also like really beautiful.
I had a bit of a cry the first time
I can imagine you.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, okay, I'm not the most manly man I know.
Man can cry. And that does not make you less manly.
I cry so much.
Me too.
No, I don't cry that much, but
actually not that much.
If I look at the wrong videos, I cry.
I get that though.
If I look at some anime, I cry.
I cry a lot with music.
Oh yeah, I cry. I love violin, so if I listen to a song with the violin, I most of the time cry because it's such a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next episode we'll talk about crying.
The history of crying.
Imagine, what the hell? No.
Okay.
Okay,
well, thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you indeed.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you really enjoyed the episode. I
hope you did too, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to do. And Ray, where can people find us?
Linktree.
Linktree.
Linktree at TheyComeBeforeDawn, and you can find all our social medias and of course our website and Gmail if you want to send us an email about something. Who knows?
Doesn't really matter. You can do whatever the hell you want.
If you want to share a story, be featured in an episode,
want to give
something,
us another topic you want us to talk about?
Exactly.
You can always just do that by sending us an email.
An email or a DM on Twitter or whatever.
Instagram. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
Well, we would like to thank you for listening to the episode.
Indeed.
And I hope you all have a pleasant night.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Next time on They Come Before Dawn.
On February 26, 1959, a search party found the bodies of 9 Russian hikers in the cold Siberian snow. However, the circumstances of their disappearance were very strange. 6 out of the 9 members died from hypothermia, but the other 3 died by blunt force trauma. Join us in next night's episode where we talk about the Outlaw Pass incident.